Emily Whitmore had always been the girl who blended into the background. Every morning, she would wake up in her bright blue bedroom in a small town called Maplewood, facing the same old routine. She would sigh as she looked at herself in the mirror, wishing she could be someone else, someone confident, someone free of self-doubt. While her friends talked about their big dreams, Emily felt trapped in her thoughts. At work, she sat quietly at her desk at the local library, watching opportunities pass her by. When her boss, Mr. Hartman, announced a chance to lead a new project, all she could do was shrink back. "I could never do that," she thought, focusing instead on the floor. That phrase echoed in her mind more often than not. I could never. Each day felt like treading water in a sea of negativity, with her dreams just out of reach. Even small steps seemed impossible, as if she were stuck in a thick fog where everything looked gray and dull. Aspiration felt like a distant star, shining for others but never for her. But deep down, there was a whisper of hope. Emily wanted to break that cycle. With each sunset painting the sky in warm colors outside her window, she felt a tug at her heart. Maybe, just maybe, change was possible. She dreamt of waking up one morning filled with confidence, ready to take on the world, not just as Emily the background character, but as Emily who could step into the spotlight and shine. A quiet strength began to stir inside her, and she yearned to uncover it. One fateful afternoon in late spring, Emily found herself scrolling through her phone during her lunch break at the library. She had always turned to social media to escape her thoughts, but that day was different. Just as she was about to close the app, a bright post caught her attention. It was a video of a woman named Sarah, who was sharing her story about overcoming fear and self-doubt. Emily paused, captivated by the excitement in Sarah's voice and the light behind her eyes. As Sarah spoke about her struggles, Emily felt a spark of recognition. This woman had once been just like her, caught in a web of insecurity and uncertainty. Sarah had faced challenges that seemed insurmountable, yet through determination and change, she had transformed her life. Emily leaned in closer, her heart racing. The more she watched, the more inspired she felt. Sarah's message resonated deeply within her. You have the power to change your story. With hesitant fingers, she decided to write down the feelings stirring within her. Pouring her heart onto the page, Emily recalled the times she held back from speaking up or trying something new. Each memory held a tether of fear, but now they felt less like chains and more like stepping stones. I was never brave, she penned, but I want to be. I envy those who take leaps of faith. This small exercise began to awaken something profound and understanding that sometimes action starts within. Just writing and reflecting made her realize that she wasn't entirely helpless. Over the next few weeks, Emily revisited the video and began to search for more inspiring stories and motivational content. There was one quote that particularly struck her: "Comfort is your enemy." As straightforward as that sounded, it resonated in her soul. Comfort had turned into dullness, a daily routine that offered no passion at all. Meanwhile, change appeared daunting, like a big mountain she couldn't climb. The thought of breaking free from her comfort zone felt scary, like stepping into the unknown. Still, Emily felt a hint of excitement grow within her. The desire to live a life filled with meaning started to slowly pull her through the clouds of doubt. The inner voice that said, "I can do this," slowly grew louder, drowning out the negativity. But in these moments of inspiration, uncertainty shadowed her. She couldn't shake the feelings that whispered she might relapse into old habits. What if she couldn't really change? What if her self-doubt was stronger than her motivation? Emily sat with her thoughts, acknowledging the fear that often kept her from attempting new things. It was a companion she knew too well, and while she wanted to step forward, hesitation still gripped her heart. Yet, for the very first time, there was a flicker of hope. It felt like a soft breeze that whispered, "You are not alone." Maybe there was a way out of her spiral of negativity. Maybe the journey to change had just begun. Each small effort, she realized, could influence the direction of her life. With the spark of hope igniting within her, Emily made a decision one sunny morning. After battling her insecurities and witnessing the transformation in others, she decided to take the plunge and sign up for a public speaking class. The idea sent shivers down her spine, but it also filled her with a thrilling sense of adventure. For years, the thought of speaking in front of others induced a heavy weight of fear, yet now, It felt like a real step toward her desire for change. On the first day of class, Emily felt a mix of excitement and anxiety as she walked into the bright, airy room filled with unfamiliar faces. Her heart raced as she spotted the instructor, an enthusiastic man named Mr. Parker, who greeted everyone with a warm smile. Yet, as he began to explain the course outline, her stomach churned with fear. She remembered all the times she had avoided being the center of attention and felt the familiar grip of self-doubt. What if I embarrass myself? What if I can't do this? The thoughts echoed in her mind. However, as the first class moved forward, something shifted. Mr. Parker shared his own struggles with public speaking, calming some of Emily's nerves. People in the class were encouraged to share their fears and goals. To her surprise, when it was her turn, Emily opened her mouth and spoke for the first time. The words spilled out, shaky but clear. I want to be more confident, but I am scared. She looked around and noticed nods of understanding. After the class, Emily felt proud of her small step. It may have seemed minor, but it felt like climbing a mountain. That evening, she wrote in her journal about how she had faced a piece of her fear. Each thought swelled her heart with excitement as she wrote about her commitment to getting better. But like a persistent shadow, self-doubt returned with gossip that suggested she might not complete the course, or that something embarrassing may happen next time. It felt heavy, but she pushed against it, reminding herself of the hope that had sparked change. As the weeks continued, classmates became community. They formed small groups for practice, exchanging tips and practicing speeches. Emily practiced a short speech about her favorite book and found an unexpected joy in preparing the content. She struggled to find the right words at times and stumbled over her sentences, but, on presentation day, something wonderful happened. She delivered it without freezing. Taking slow, deep breaths before speaking helped clear her mind. When she finished, the applause surrounding her felt like a warm hug. That moment ignited something deep within her. She was more than Emily the observer, she was Emily the doer. This encouragement fed her resolve and reassured her that she was on the right path. She smiled with unexpected joy as every small win chipped away at her past insecurities. With each lesson and practice session, she began to notice something significant. The feeling of doubt didn't vanish entirely, but it changed flavor. It morphed into butterflies of anticipation instead of the heavy weight of fear. Lob fears into motivation, each presentation became a chance to learn and grow. Emily discovered that her voice, once small and timid, could be powerful and impactful. Each small response she received, like supportive smiles or words of encouragement from her peers, brightened her spirit. As she looked back, Emily realized that these experiences were more than just dreams, they were building blocks for a new version of herself. Each class moved her closer, like steps taken toward a beautiful horizon. And finally, the realization rushed through her: she did not need to be perfect to be good enough. The mere act of trying transformed her self-doubt into thrilling potential and blossoming confidence. One sunny afternoon, a vibrant flyer landed on Emily's desk at the library. It announced a local community event called Voices of Maplewood, designed to spotlight stories and talents from residents. The event promised to connect people and celebrate their voices. As she read through the details, her heart skipped a beat. Featured speakers would share their ideas and experiences with the audience. Excitement and fear danced in her chest, reminding her of the chase of an approaching roller coaster. The thought of participating electrified her. This could be an incredible chance to share her journey with others and inspire those who struggled with self-doubt just like she had. But with that thrilling possibility, a familiar voice crept in, whispering, "What if you fail? What if no one cares?" It echoed in her mind like a foreboding drumbeat, drowning out her hope. Days passed, and as the event approached, the conflict within Emily grew stronger. She found herself pacing around her small kitchen, her thoughts spinning. The same self-doubt that had haunted her in the past clawed back at her heart. She worried about her ability to write a meaningful speech, and she feared her voice shaking in front of an audience. What if she blanked out or made a mistake? Her thoughts raced like a storm, clouding her mind and filling her with dread. Taking a deep breath, she sat down and pulled out her notebook. Yet every time her pen hit the paper, the words felt frozen. The pressure of creating something worthwhile overwhelmed her, and she did the one thing she promised herself she wouldn't. She pushed the event aside and focused on her daily tasks instead. She organized bookmarks, counted returned books, and made coffee, keeping her busy to avoid the thick wall of fear. But Pandora's box of self-doubt remained open, feeding her anxiety. On the day before the event, Emily joined her friends for lunch. They were buzzing about their plans for the upcoming weekend, sharing stories and laughter. But while they chatted about their dreams, Emily felt restless inside. The event was looming like a thundercloud, threatening to burst. Her friend Sophie caught her distracted gaze and asked softly, "What's wrong, Emily?" With a sigh, Emily revealed the invitation and disclosed her fears. Sophie listened carefully before speaking, saying, "Remember how you felt when you first spoke in class? You did it. You made it through. You have a story to tell, and people want to hear it." Those warm words pierced through Emily's wall of doubt like a ray of light. But still, uncertainty lingered. She felt like a ship tossed between worry and hope, struggling to find solid ground. That night, plagued with restless thoughts, she tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Her mind returned more often to that troublesome what-if than the growing courage she had found in her journey. She imagined standing on stage, heart pounding and palms sweaty, silenced by fear while others looked on with dozens of eyes. Each scenario was more daunting than the last. Yet, as dawn broke, Emily felt a flicker of determination rise alongside her anxiety. With shaky hands, Emily finally picked up her notebook again and started writing. Though tears brushed her cheeks, she poured her heart onto the pages, the fears, the struggles, the hopes, and what it meant to grow stronger. With every word, the storm inside her calmed slightly. Maybe, just maybe, this was a chance to prove to herself that she was capable of more than self-doubt. Near the night of the event, that familiar wave of fear crashed back, but Emily squeezed the pen tighter, igniting a silent promise. She may face the fear of failure, pressed at the edge of this opportunity, but she also felt the undeniable flame of hope and resilience flickering within her. The moment she had worked for was almost here, and she realized it was about more than just success, it was about expressing herself and embracing her journey. The stakes were high, and adrenaline surged through her veins. It was now or never. The day of the Voices of Maplewood event dawned bright and warm, but for Emily, it felt like standing in the eye of a whirlwind. She stood backstage, her heart pounding loudly as she waited for her name to be called. The faint noise of people chatting filled the air, but all Emily could hear were her own loud thoughts. "I can't do this. What if they don't want to listen? What if I forget everything?" Each question felt like weight dragging her down into a pit of doubt, but something inside her had changed after weeks of practice. Emily took a deep breath, closed her eyes for just a moment, and allowed herself to think positive thoughts. "I have a story worth telling," she reminded herself. "This is my chance." Though the fear still tugged at her, she knew she had come too far to turn back now. It was time to confront her fears head-on. When her name was finally announced, Emily felt as if the ground had shifted beneath her feet. With a determined heart, she stepped onto the stage, the bright lights shining down and overwhelming her senses. Was this what confidence felt like? She felt a mix of nerves and excitement flood her like a wave. She looked out at the crowd, noticing the familiar faces of friends cheering her on, their smiles both comforting and daunting. Gripping the sides of the podium, Emily started her speech. "Hi, my name is Emily," she began, her voice shaking slightly in the beginning. "I want to talk about how fear has held me back for too long." As she spoke those words, the crowd leaned in, listening quietly. The unexpected support reignited her spirit. Each sentence felt like a tiny victory, and with each word, the pressure in her chest began to ease. But mid-sentence, doubt slipped back in like a thief in the night. What if they saw her shaking hands? Would they think she was weak? Just when she felt her thoughts spiraling, Emily remembered the comforting words she had written, "Embrace the moment." In that instant, she chose to face her fear. Instead of backing away, she stepped closer to the audience, each step bringing her sense of control back. "I believe everyone has their own battles to fight," she continued with newfound strength, "and it's okay to be afraid." She locked eyes with a few supportive faces, among them was Sophie, beaming with encouragement. Feeling that warmth solidify her confidence, she abandoned her prepared script and spoke from her heart. She shared moments of her journey, the times she struggled, the decisions that terrified her, and how she learned to embrace those fears instead of letting them paralyze her. Emily realized that vulnerability was her greatest strength. With each story, she inspired not only herself but also the audience around her. Laughter erupted at her light-hearted jokes, and even her nervousness became a bridge that connected her to them. Their acceptance fueled her determination. A feeling of liberation washed over her like a gentle wave, dissipating the cloud of anxiety. As her speech reached its climax, she built up to her final message. Let us not let fear cage us. Let us dream, take risks, and overcome challenges together. When she finished speaking, the applause thundered around her like a beautiful ocean, washing away all her self-doubt. A smile broke out on her face that felt genuine and bright. She had faced her fears, challenged the voice of doubt, and spoken from her heart without apology. The moment crystallized into clarity. This was more than a speech, it was a celebration of her journey. Emily had transformed from a girl bound by limitations to a woman ready to embrace all possibilities, empowered by her experience. The breakthrough felt profound and intensely real, marking her evolution in ways words could barely capture. As the last echoes of applause filled the air, Emily stood at the podium, heart racing and pulse pounding. It wasn't just the cheers that stirred her, it was the feeling of completeness that wrapped around her in that moment. She had spoken her truth, faced her fears, and stepped bravely into a space that had once terrified her. Around her, the audience began to smile and nod, as if they felt the same rush of energy that surged through her. The evening continued with other speakers following in line, but Emily stood off to the side, trying to calm her heartbeat. Friends like Sophie and other familiar faces came over, showering her with compliments and encouragement. You were amazing, Emily. You really inspired me. Sophie exclaimed, her eyes bright. Those words sparkled like stars, and Emily felt warmth spread in her chest. What was most surprising, however, was how incredible she felt inside. Though her speech was behind her, it became clear to her that this was more than just one moment on stage. It was like a blooming flower, unveiling a beauty that she had not previously recognized in herself. She had stepped out of her comfort zone and discovered that embracing vulnerability could actually ignite strength. After the event, Emily strolled home under the shimmering night sky. The moon glowed softly, and the stars twinkled like distant promises. True joy rushed through her veins as she replayed parts of her speech in her head, but amidst happiness, she could feel a soft whisper of doubt crawl back into her mind. What if that was just a lucky moment? What if I can't keep this energy? But this time, Emily held onto the spark of inspiration, pushing back against that voice. She was learning that fear didn't have to define her. Each time she faced it, she chipped away at its power. The next day at the library, she surprised herself by wanting to share the experience with her colleagues. During a break, she found a small group of coworkers gathered around the bookshelf sorting their tasks. Emily took a deep breath, feeling a nervous flutter in her stomach, but she knew she had something valuable to share. I did something big yesterday, she said, cautious yet eager. As her co-workers looked up in curiosity, she unveiled her story about the speech. To her delight, each word brought laughter and applause. She spoke of struggle but also of triumph, and that moment sparked an even deeper sense of responsibility within her. Emily realized that she could motivate not only herself but also inspire others on their paths to confidence. That small act became a pivotal point in her journey. She started looking for opportunities to help others at the library, guiding book clubs, leading discussions, and even mentoring those interested in public speaking. Each moment she stepped into the role of a leader, she noticed her confidence blossoming anew, filling gaps that fear had left behind. Gradually, Emily discovered a remarkable shift within herself. Failure no longer held the power it once did. Instead of dread, it brought a sense of curiosity. She began to see challenges as stepping stones rather than obstacles. This transformation nurtured her belief in her capability to grow, creating lasting resilience in her heart. The road ahead remained filled with uncertainty, but she looked toward it with excitement instead of trepidation. Emily understood that breaking free from her past meant continually choosing courage over comfort. And within that choice lay her newfound strength, a belief that had blossomed from doubt into a beautiful garden of possibilities. Each day, she would step forward, ready to cultivate her journey even further and eager to unlock the endless wonders life had to offer. In the days following her triumphant speech at the Voices of Maplewood event, Emily found herself embracing a mix of emotions. The exhilaration of standing in front of an audience and sharing her journey still stirred within her, but in the quiet moments of reflection, she also began to confront the reality of what lay ahead. She had tasted success, but she knew challenges awaited, and this time they felt less daunting. She spent her mornings sipping coffee while journaling her thoughts. The pages filled with reflections about her experience, like a diary piecing together a puzzle of newfound wisdom. I stepped into my fear and faced it. It was scary, but I did it, she wrote. The act of capturing her feelings gave her clarity, helping to reinforce what she had learned about herself. However, Emily soon experienced moments of discontent. The initial thrill wore off, and doubts tried to creep back into her mind. At work, a new project proposal required speaking in front of her team. Despite her recent success, her heart raced at the thought of presenting again. What if I mess up? Twisted in her mind like a stubborn vine. Yet, Emily paused to examine those thoughts and replace them with positivity. She caught herself inputting doubt where she could feed encouragement. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by anxiety, she intentionally focused on all the things that had changed since stepping onto that stage. She had faced an audience and survived, and that experience was a pillar she could lean on. I'd been here before, she reassured herself. I can do this. The next morning at the library, when her supervisor asked her for help with a group presentation, Emily took a deep breath and said yes. It was a small step, but it felt monumental. She could feel warmth blooming in her chest as she accepted the task, recognizing she didn't have to be perfect. My experience can help others, she thought. Instead of wrestling with self-doubt, she began envisioning a scenario where she functioned not just as a speaker, but as a team player. Over the days that followed, the preparation for the presentation heightened her excitement. She began rehearsing with her colleagues, sharing ideas and encouraging each other. With each practice, Emily saw not just anxiety but also anticipation fluttering together. She reveled in brainstorming sessions, allowing herself to contribute freely without the pressure of being perfect. Watching her colleagues embrace their own fears mirrored her journey. They encouraged each other during group practices, and that camaraderie sparked even more confidence in Emily. Each compliment exchanged lifted her spirit and built a foundation of resilience that she had not experienced before. As the deadline approached for the big presentation, Emily found herself remembering her recent success during the event. Those memories served as powerful reminders of the strength within her. With renewed courage and support from her team, anxiety faded to the background. On the day of the presentation, she walked into the room with a sense of calm. Her heart still raced, but instead of panic, it felt like excitement coursing through her. When it was her turn to speak, Emily quickly launched into her section, and this time, she embraced every word. She shared insights and experiences purposefully, allowing passion and positivity to flow. Instead of focusing on the fear of failure, she let herself enjoy connecting with her audience. And though she stumbled over a point or two, she knew it was okay. When she finished speaking, applause echoed in the room, and a huge smile spread across her face. No longer defined by her fear of failure, Emily recognized that every challenge offered a chance to learn and grow. Reflecting on her experience in those moments of calm, she accepted that confidence wasn't a single destination but an ongoing journey. With each new step, her belief in herself blossomed more brightly in the light of confidence, paving the way for future adventures. With each passing week, Emily felt her confidence blossoming like a vibrant flower, and the desire to share her journey began to grow stronger. The thrill of stepping onto the stage had unlocked something deep within her, propelling her to take action beyond just herself. Now, she wanted to help others embrace their journeys of change and improvement too. One afternoon, while taking a break at the library, Emily sat with her friend Mia. They were drinking tea, and Mia expressed her struggles with social anxiety, particularly in large gatherings. Emily felt her heart tug as she listened. She remembered how she had once felt trapped by fear and hesitated in social situations. It dawned on her that this was an opportunity to share what she had learned. Determined to support Mia, Emily said, "I was scared too, you know. But I wanted to find a way to step beyond that fear." She shared her experience of public speaking, emphasizing how each time she faced her anxiety, she discovered a stronger version of herself. Emily encouraged Mia to join her for the next library event, assuring her that attending with a friend could help ease her fears. Days turned into weeks, and seeing Mia slowly gain confidence was an uplifting journey for both of them. She smiled more, laughed easier, and often spoke about her goals. Emily guided Mia through the practice of fun conversation starters and shared techniques to manage anxiety. As Mia prepared for her first public appearance, Emily's heart swelled with pride. The transformation in her friend neatly mirrored her own. On a modern-day whim, Emily decided it was time to expand beyond just sharing knowledge in conversations. She had always loved writing, and harnessing social media felt like a perfect way to reach more people. Sitting at her kitchen table, she opened her laptop and started a blog dedicated to her journey of self-improvement. Titled Emily's Journey, the blog served as a safe space for Emily to share insights, stories, and encouragement about overcoming self-doubt and embracing growth. Crafting her first blog post lit a spark within her. Each person has the power to change their story, she wrote, sharing intimate details of her past battles and the steps she took to find the courage to step into the light. As she clicked publish, excitement filled her heart. She felt vulnerable yet empowered, knowing that her words might reach someone searching for guidance. As weeks went by, Emily consistently created content, and the blog began attracting a small following. Readers commented on her posts, sharing their own experiences and appreciation. As the connection grew, so did Emily's understanding of the positive impact her words were having on others. It thrilled her to think that she had once been locked in a cage of self-doubt, but now those very words could inspire others to find their wings, too. Touched by her blog's success, Emily decided to take it a step further by launching a YouTube channel. She felt nervous at first, but the desire to spread her message to a broader audience pushed her forward. Each video became a chance for her to reach out and connect faces to stories. Emily discussed tips, strategies, and her raw experiences during each video. It became a joyful exploration, allowing her to embrace vulnerability while encouraging others to do the same. The community around her blog and channel began to thrive. Emily celebrated not only her growth but the journeys of those who felt inspired by the message. Every encouraging note, every story shared filled her heart with warmth. As Emily gazed at the blossoming community, she truly realized the power she held to make a difference. With every word she spoke and written, she integrated the lessons of positivity, courage, and resilience into her life and the lives of others. Her self-confidence wasn't merely a personal victory, it has become a tool to uplift others. For the first time, Emily fully understood that her voice mattered, and sharing her journey had the capacity to inspire hope, courage, and growth that rippled far beyond herself. Each day became a step forward in crafting a life centered around connection, positivity, and the commitment to inspire change in herself and those around her. As the months rolled by, Emily's life reflected the quiet yet powerful transformation she had undergone. After her experience at the Voices of Maplewood event, she had forged ahead with newfound strength, embracing each opportunity that came her way. The library, once a routine job, now felt like a place of connection and influence. Emily wasn't just a librarian anymore, she had stepped into the role of a community leader, guiding others on their paths towards self-discovery and growth. Her blog and YouTube channel had gained traction, cultivating a supportive audience eager to learn and share their experiences. Emily felt pride knowing that her words had the power to lift others up and inspire change. Readers would often reach out to express how her insights motivated them, fueling her passion even further. Each person she inspired added energy to her own journey and made it feel even more vibrant. Meanwhile, her work at the library flourished. Emily was approached by Mr. Hartman, her supervisor, who expressed his admiration for the way she had grown into a leader. He offered her the chance to organize workshops focused on self-improvement and public speaking for the community. Excitement surged through her veins at the proposal. It felt like a natural progression, she was ready to embrace this challenge. As she planned each workshop, Emily carefully crafted presentations, integrating all the lessons she had learned along her journey. The experience transformed her into an influential figure in her community, someone not just known for her knowledge of books but for her empathetic perspective on life. The workshops turned out to be a resounding success, with attendance growing at each session. Enriching discussions bloomed, and the feedback encouraged Emily's growth even further. However, the journey was not without its trials. A few weeks into her workshop initiatives, Emily faced unexpected setbacks, a technical glitch during a session or a workshop with fewer participants than anticipated. In the past, these experiences might have triggered her self-doubt and anxiety. But she quickly learned to shift her perspective. These are teachable moments, she would say to herself, smiling at the lessons needed to grow. Gradually, Emily understood that personal growth was not a final destination but a lifelong journey. Each challenge presented an opportunity to learn something new about herself, about resilience, and the value of perseverance. She learned to embrace failure as part of progress. Rather than retreating in fear, Emily plunged into the challenges with excitement, eager to learn and evolve further. Moreover, the true essence of her transformation rested in her mindset. With a heart full of optimism, Emily began to see the world around her through a new lens. She focused on possibilities rather than limitations. She found joy in small moments, a shared laugh with a participant during a workshop where the connection formed as someone spoke about their transformation. Each interaction left a mark, filling her spirit with purpose. Her relationships deepened too. With her friends, she found more open dialogues, sharing experiences openly and encouraging each other's growth journeys. Every conversation overflowed with hope, enkindling a community ready to lift each other. Together, they learned that ordinary moments held the potential for extraordinary growth. As Emily reflected on her journey, she understood the way she had transitioned. Gone was the timid girl bound by self-doubt. She had emerged a bold, empowered woman willing to step into the unknown. Confidence blossomed within her, transforming challenges into stepping stones. And with that, she felt ready. The future stayed bright, filled with curiosity and excitement for all the adventures ahead. As any journey goes, Emily knew she would face challenges, but instead of dread, she faced them fueled by courage and hope. The journey of growth was theirs as a community, and Emily embraced it wholeheartedly. Every step forward felt like a promise, one she was determined to keep as she stepped into a future filled with endless possibilities.